Know your audience. Know your audience. You ever heard that before? My wife has said that to me. Chris, you need to know your audience. So as I'm learning and as I'm deciding and as I'm walking out this life of change, last year I was living in a totally different state, and we moved from one state to another. So we changed. I went from a career into a business that I owned myself. So I'm self-employed. So there was some change. I went from being around business associates back to my hometown, my home state. And so now I'm around family and friends and a whole lot of people. So there's some more change. And as I've been learning my audience, I have found that people will treat me differently based on the relationship. Know your audience. When we are in this place of change, maybe you've been here, maybe you're here now. As we're in this place of change, or we want a change, maybe we're in our 20s and we're moving into our 30s, or we're in our 30s and we want a new career path, so we go into, maybe you're just out of high school and you're going into college. Maybe from college and you're going into your first job of your career. There's a lot of things that we need to do in our own personal development to teach people how to treat us by the way we treat people. So we need to know our audience. I did an experiment, and the experiment was this. For the last 6 months, I've been going to a breakfast on Wednesdays with a group of men. When I first started going to the breakfast, I was about 35 pounds heavier than I am right now. So I went on a diet. When I first got back into town, I would show up in a pair of jeans and a pair of boots and, my shirt untucked and a baseball cap. But over time, as I began to lose weight, I began to buy some new clothes. I began to tuck my shirt in. I began to take my hat off and brush my hair, style my hair. As I interacted with the men when I first arrived, I would just go sit next to my father at the table. And over time, I began to go around to the men as I was changing, as I was losing weight. My self-confidence was rising. I began to dress different. I would go over to each one of the men and I would look them in the eye and I would shake their hand and tell them good morning. And I presented myself different. Now, these men averaged age between 60 at the youngest, which I'm the youngest, but I'm not 60, so a little older than me, all the way up to probably 85, maybe 90, maybe 86 to 90. Anyway, but I watched how they began to treat me different. They began to call me by my first name. They began to have a smile on their face. Instead of, oh, I'm just a guy who shows up and sits down at the end of the table, I began this relationship with these individuals. So I want to encourage you. My father would say, if you want a career change, or you want a promotion, or you want the next step in your job, dress the part. And I watched how the way I treated people was the way they treated me. When I gave respect, I got respect. When I dressed different, when I presented myself differently, they responded differently to me. So I want to encourage you. If you are like me and you're growing and you're making those changes, maybe you made a resolution for 2025. Maybe you're wanting to, like I said, get that promotion. Begin to walk out the changes in your life before you get the change. You'll think different, you'll look different, you'll act different, and eventually it'll become your new life. Hopefully that helps. Talk to you soon.